Hello, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Stephen, and today's date is Wednesday, the 18th of May, 2016, and this is my update video to the earlier one that I did getting on for 2 years ago. And I suppose I should apologise because I did say at the end of that video I would probably wait 6 months or so and post something, and I've been a little bit tardy and waited 22 months. Not for any reason other than the fact that life gets in the way, and I've been busy with my job, my career, moving home, just general life. So I do apologise for that to anyone who was waiting to find out the update. But here is the update, and it won't be anywhere near as long or tedious or as comprehensive as the 52-minute video that the previous one I put up was. I just started talking and couldn't stop, and famous last words, and I'm sure I'm probably going to do this in close to an hour as well, but I will try and be short and sweet. So yes, 18th of May, the last video I posted, I went back and had a look just to find out when it was. It was July 2014, so that was only about 6 weeks after I'd had the operation, which was in June. So we are getting up to the sort of 2-year point where I had the procedure, where I had the gastric sleeve. And life is very good at the moment. I am, as of this morning, 19 stone and 9 pounds. And I think when I did the video, I was around about 24. So I've lost over 5 stone since then. In total, which is, I suppose, the important thing, when I first started, I was 27 stone 10. And as of this morning, I'm 19 stone 9. So I've lost over 8 stone. 8 stone, 2 pounds, or 116 pounds, which I am very happy about. I'm very pleased with. I never, when I started on this process, had an actual figure in my mind that I wanted to achieve. I wanted to be happy and healthy, and at the time when I first went for the gastric sleeve, I was having health problems, mobility issues, and I was getting so large. It was, you know, the socially unacceptable end of the sort of spectrum of obesity, and I wasn't happy at all. And so my main objective was to sort of get something of a life back, which I feel I've already achieved. So I didn't actually have a weight figure in mind. If I was to ever admit to something, it would be that I'd wanted to be back down in the teens, and that's something I've achieved in the last week. So maybe that's what's subconsciously prompted me to do this video. I'm back down into the teens, and I suppose it's a psychological thing. Whenever I speak to my friends and family and they're ever brave enough to say what their weight is, their fighting weight is always 13, 14, 15. It's in the teens. So psychologically, if I could get myself back down in the teens from having been in the 20s for a very, very long time, I haven't weighed a teen weight since I was literally in my teens in the late 90s. So that was quite a nice feeling to get that. And I was hovering around the 20 stone 0, 20 stone 1 pound for a very long time. But I put a big push on it last week and the week before when I was on holiday, and managed to achieve that. And, you know, and quite a few sort of pounds below that. So I suppose I'm not going to stop now. You know, I'm enjoying the lifestyle I have. I'm enjoying being a lot more active and healthy, and I'd like to see how far I can go. So if I can get down into somewhere around 18 and a half, you know, I'm still going to be overweight. I think the target weight for someone my height and age is going to be somewhere around 14, maybe 13 and a half. So I'm still going to be 3 or 4 stone overweight, but I'm not going to be 15 stone overweight, and you know, with some quite worrying health issues. So that's where I am now. That's my current situation, and hopefully you can see in my face, I'm a little bit slimmer. I think it's where my face is more noticeable. I've still got something of a tie here, but it's coming off slowly. I suppose the clothes is one big thing. I've gone from a sort of 5XL down to comfortably a 3XL, but I can squeeze into a 2XL. And 2XL is where I'd be quite happy to remain, because you can go into a 2XL category at places like Marks and Spencer's, or the soon-to-be demised BHS, places like that where you can actually go and buy. I hesitate to use words normal clothes, but I have historically had to go and get my clothes from places like Jacamo and High and Mighty that do the 5XL, the 7XL shirts, and so it would be nice to be able to go and get clothes from Topman. I don't think I'm ever going to be an Abercrombie model, but it will be nice to sort of go and shop in the high street stores again. So yeah, I'm sort of the 2XL, 3XL size at the moment. I suppose clothing is an interesting point because one of the things you do have to consider when you go through weight loss surgery and you experience quite dramatic weight loss is that you have to throw out quite a lot of clothes. Some of my larger shirts I do still have, and if you tuck them in and pull your belt in, you can just get away with them, but it's here in the collar you start to notice it. So I've had to mix and match some suit jackets and trousers as well, so I've bought new trousers, but jackets you can still sort of get away with. Usually take them off. I've got a job in the city, so I commute wearing a suit jacket and then put it on my chair as soon as I get to my desk. But as soon as I've sort of really fully achieved my weight loss goal, and I'll probably be sort of towards the end of this year, I'm going to treat myself and go out and get a nice proper tailored suit that will probably fit me, because that's the weight I want to stay at for a long time, and that can be my prize. That's the goal I'm working towards. But that's something you do need to consider. Your wardrobe, you have to sort of throw things out, and I do have quite a lot of second-hand jackets that I need to maybe think about putting on eBay or something, but they're down in the garage. So what were the other things I wanted to mention? My scars, that's something I should say. Please, you don't feel like you are squeamish, but there is one of them there, and that's very sort of indicative of the rest of them. It's a tiny little scratch. You really can't notice them very much because the operation is by keyhole surgery. So 2 years later, I mean, they're noticeable, they're scars, but there's no whacking great unattractive thing that's there. I don't feel self-conscious taking my shirt off at the swimming pool, no more than I do normally, being a larger guy anyway, but it's never something that's sort of bothered me actually. So there are still 5 scars there, and they're not that noticeable, so you can sort of live with them. After you've had the operation, there are still a number of checkups and appointments that you have to go for. Because I'm sort of nearly 2 years out now, they're far more infrequent, and I have to confess I did miss the last one, but what happens is I think you're booked for the first one 3 months later, and then they're every 6 months, and then after that they're every year, and I think I'm in that latter category now. But when you go for the sort of checkup, you will meet usually once with a surgeon, once with a bariatric nurse, and once with the dietitian, who they will obviously weigh you, they will ask you about your diet, and they're measuring your progress. And at every appointment I've been to, the weight loss has been it's been measured, but I think the first 2 I was ahead of where I should have been, so they were very pleased with me. They asked you questions about, is your hair falling out? Have you noticed any discoloration in your nails? And I was thinking, no, not either of those things. Should I be? So I was quite worried. And they asked you embarrassing questions about your stools as well, like that, and number 2s. And I suppose if you are squeamish, it'll forward on through this bit. But in the very early days, it is a little bit more runny, I suppose. It's not as sort of solid as you might be used to. I don't like talking about this, but that's just to expect, maybe from the sort of initial part of the diet you have. But they do ask you questions about that. But yeah, I think within about 6 months, everything goes back to normal and functioning. So what about meal times? I suppose that's a real question you're asking about. So 22 months in, am I missing food? Well, no, I suppose I'm not, is the short answer. I don't feel ever like I'm on a diet, and I don't feel ever like I can't go and eat what I want. At lunchtime today, I had a very nice burger from Five Guys. I didn't really have any chips of it, and that was a nice treat for me. I don't generally eat lots of junk food anymore. It's more about, I think, portion control for me. So I had a meal around my sister-in-law's house last night, and everyone else had lasagna, and I was able to finish sort of half lasagna, and I had some salad with it as well. But someone else very quickly finished off my part of it. Didn't have any garlic bread. So no, I'm not missing food, and I still feel fuller faster than I used to. So I feel the sleeve is still working. It's certainly there. I am aware that it's probably grown in size slightly since it was first created 2 years ago. So there is more capacity than there was. If I sort of think right back, within about 2 or 3 months of the operation, when I was back on solid foods, I could barely eat half a sandwich. I'd go and get my lunch from somewhere like Pret a Manger. I could only really ever have one half of a sandwich, and maybe even not all that. And now I can eat a whole sandwich in. But saying that, that's all I can eat. If I go to Pret, in my older days, I would have had a sandwich, I would have had a chocolate bar, I would have had a bag of crisps and probably a can of Coke, and sometimes when I was really hungry I would have had the second sandwich. But now a sandwich will fill me up, and that's all I will have for lunch. And I don't feel I'm missing other things because I feel full, if that makes sense. So so as long as you're sort of feeling full on the right foods, I think you're sort of on the right track. So I'm probably not following the dietary advice as strictly as I should, but because the weight loss is happening and I'm far more active and I'm exercising, I'm achieving my goals. But I will occasionally skip meals. Breakfast I'm not a big fan of, so in the morning I tend to have maybe just one of those sort of breakfast bars that you can get with a small glass of orange juice or milk, or if I'm going to have something else, it would be sort of a small yogurt, low fat. But I don't have sort of big breakfast meals or even cereal anymore. At the weekend I might have a slice of toast, and it's always brown bread with some margarine, or if I'm really treating myself, some peanut butter. I suppose that's my one guilty pleasure still. I do like peanut butter, but it's not an everyday thing. But other than that, I'm sort of eating, in terms of day-to-day foods, very similar to what I was eating before. There's probably a little bit more fresh fruit and vegetables thrown in there, but some more fresh ingredients that I'm using. But I still eat steak. One of the things they did say is that you won't be able to eat bread, you won't be able to eat steak again. Both those things I can cope with, and my sleeve is able to cope with. And that was always a worry for me, because I do like steak. I do love a nice bit of Aberdeen Angus steak, and so that's all positive. If I'm eating out with friends, I will probably struggle to have 3 courses, and that's no bad thing. So often I will eat out and have a starter, whether it's a camembert or something like that, and that will often fill me up. And then when the mains comes, because it looks so nice and delicious on the menu, you think I'll have something else as well, and then you just can't finish the mains, and then no way you can even think about dessert. So I have to pick and choose. At the very, very sort of best, I can manage 1.5, maybe 2 courses. You can never manage 3 anymore. But I don't mind that. I'm happy to sort of enjoy other people's conversation and always make sure that they're not going to feel that they're left out just because I can't order a starter. And that's one of the things I am conscious of, because I can't eat as much as I used to. I take my time with my food as well. Because I can't eat as much, I eat very, very slowly and methodically, chewing every biteful, enjoying every biteful, letting it get to your stomach, then to tell your brain that you're full. And if you take your time and enjoy every bite, every flavourful taste, you feel fuller as well. And I think for me it was a lot of it was to do with the psychology of it. If I felt full, I didn't feel like I was missing out on food. So yes, diet, I don't want to say it's completely gone back to normal, because obviously it hasn't gone back to normal. I'm not eating the same quantities of food. I'm probably not eating as much crap food. I certainly don't eat any. I suppose I don't drink fizzy drinks anymore. I think that's the one thing I probably have completely cut out. If I'm having a soft drink, it will be an orange squash, orange juice, or something like that. For some reason, because probably my stomach's a lot smaller than it was, doesn't have as much space capacity. Bubbles when they're in there, something fizzy, carbonated, it just doesn't. It doesn't feel like it's burning, but you just feel like some sort of pressure, some tightness, and I just don't like that. It's not painful. It's just not a strange. It's a strange sensation, but I don't really miss it. And when I was drinking soda before, it was only ever Diet Coke, so I've just replaced that with squash or lots of water. That's the other thing I should have written down on my little crib sheet here. Water. I drink probably a couple of litres a day. When I get to my desk at work, there's a water fountain. I fill up a big pint of water. That's gone by 10:30, 11 o'clock. I will then have another one of those with my sandwiches at lunchtime. And not buy the bottled water there, buy it from work, or get it free from work, 'cause it's chilled, it comes out and it's nice. And I'll have another one in the afternoon. So that's 3 pints, and I'll have another one in the evening. So if you're... One of the things I was told is that often we will misinterpret hunger pangs for thirst, or the other way around. We'll misinterpret thirst for hunger pangs. So if your stomach's rumbling or you think you want something, drink a pint of water, and surprisingly it will sort of quench that appetite that you think you have that's actually just thirst. So by the time I get to sort of lunchtime at my desk, or if I'm working at home, if I've had 2 pints of water, I don't feel that hungry. I'll still eat something, because you need to still eat and get your energy and your protein and the good carbohydrates that you need. But yes, I cannot emphasise that enough. Lots of water, and it's good for sort of your mental well-being as well. I sometimes watch the Tom Daly video channel, and one of the things he was talking about a few months ago was lemon water, and I did do that, and it was quite effective. It's just having the inclination to buy lemons and squeeze them every morning, but I was doing that for about 2 or 3 months, and if I remember to buy some lemons again, I will do it. But literally cutting half a lemon every day, squeezing the juice of a lemon into a pint of water and drinking that in the morning. It's slightly warm water as well, not completely cold. And it's good for your skin, it's good for your mental well-being, and it's a weight loss agent. The acidity of the lemon helps burn carbohydrates and calories in your stomach. So I'm told. I'm no expert in this, or maybe I am because I've lost 8 stone, so I do know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm following Tom Daly's video, but that was one of the good things. But yes, lots of fluids, lots of water, and lemon water as well has helped. So I've spoken a lot about food and what I'm now eating. What about exercise? Well, the two do go hand in hand. So when I made the video before July 2014, I was still quite overweight, and I'd lost some weight by that point. But I looked back at that video this morning, and it's noticeable on my face. When I got down to about 21 or 22 stone, I found it a lot easier to exercise. I joined a gym again, and it's basic cardio to start with. I was not worrying too much about people sprinting, and I heard recently from someone whose opinion I really respect that actually just a very brisk walk that gets you out of breath for 10 or 15 minutes can be just as effective as jogging for half an hour. And it's someone who's in very good shape, so it's someone whose opinion I do sort of respect, and I think that's where I am. I'm in the sort of brisk walk, and I really, really do like walking. I've moved house since the last video I posted, so I'm a bit further out into the country now, and there's lots of gorgeous, lovely evening strolls around here, and I've got my trusty iPhone here, and I've got my trusty Apple Watch, which are fantastic bits of technology for monitoring your daily step count. So I use an app which is called Pacer, and you become quite obsessive about this. If I go into it now, it will tell me that my step count at the moment is 5245. So I'm just over halfway to achieving my daily goal of 10,000 steps, which is roughly about right because it's sort of 3 in the afternoon at the moment. I will go for a long evening stroll tonight, and that will probably be 3,000 or 4,000 steps. And often at the end of the day, if I'm at 9,200, I don't want to go to bed until I'm at 10,000. I will walk around my living room, or walk around my garden, or walk up and down my stairs until I get 10,000 steps. There are some days where I'm nowhere near to achieving it. It's a weekend where I'm working at home, and at the end of the day I'm at 2,000 or 3,000. And you might not be able to achieve it 7 days in a row. But that is my sort of target, to get 10,000 steps a day. And I do prefer walking outside rather than sort of around the garden and in my living room. So if you go out and you put your headphones in, or you've got a nice open bit of land near you, it's great for getting fresh air and clearing your thoughts, blowing off the cobwebs. And I think, yes, it's good physically, but it's also good mentally. So I'm a big fan of my morning constitutionals, as I call them, and that has helped. And I've been able to sort of do far more of those and be a lot more active and really enjoy my energy levels since I've sort of got below 21, 22 stone. And when I used to work in London before, and I got the train into London, I would come out at Waterloo, and I would get straight into a taxi, and I would get in the taxi, and I would take me over the river to take me over Vauxhall Blackfriars Bridge, and I worked just off Fleet Street. If you know London, Fleet Street is probably about a mile from Waterloo. It's walkable, and I would never ever walk it. I don't think I walked it once. I have walked it since then, and last week I had a meeting in London, and I walked all the way from Waterloo into Holborn, which is sort of probably about 5 minutes from Euston, where my office is. And again, that's something I never would have been able to do previously. Not because I didn't have the inclination, because I think the desire would have been there. I just physically wouldn't have been able to walk that way, that far, without stopping regularly for benches or sitting down. And I did it continuously, and without even breaking a sweat, which was good. So I think at the end of that day, where I did that very long walk, because I went there and I walked back, it was over 15,000 steps. And I don't get the taxi as much anymore. If I do need to travel around London, I'll opt for the tube, but very rarely getting a taxi anymore, unless it's peeing down with rain, or it's a very long way, or I really am feeling very, very tired. But most of the time, I'm happy to sort of just be out and about and be active. And you know, especially in the summer months, and you know, we're in May now, and it's gorgeous weather, and I think we're going to have a long, nice, hot summer from everything I hear. It's a good time of year to sort of be out and about. I haven't got really into the competitive sports. A few people have said do badminton, squash, tennis. I haven't really done that. Maybe I should, but I have been quite active. So I'm a member of my local gym. I probably don't go as much as I should. It's maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, and it will be cardio. So I will do 10 or 15 minutes on a treadmill, another 10 minutes on an exercise bike, and I will then hit some sort of resistance machines. So doing these things and pulling them things down. As you can say, I know all the technical names for these things. They're all presses and things. Bench press, no, not bench presses. Shoulder press, leg press. And I've got friends who go with me and they encourage me. But I do that once or twice a week. And I think, to be honest, I enjoy the walking more. But the point is, I'm more active and I'm exercising more. And I'm enjoying it. I don't see it as a chore. I suppose it's more of a pain in the winter when it really is cold and unpleasant and you get back and it's dark and you just want to sort of curl up into a ball and get behind your duvet and watch some television. So I still have those moments, but not as much as I used to when I was like that almost every day. So yes, I am in a much happier place now than I was 22 months ago. And even when I made the video, I was feeling positive about things that happened. I'd lost a few stone at that point. I've lost, another 5 stone since I did that video before. And I feel great. I have absolutely no regrets whatsoever about that operation, and without hesitation I say it completely changed my life. It gave me a new lease of life. 2 years later I'm just about recognisable to the person I used to be, but everyone always says your face is completely different, and it's very nice. I'm quite well known for posting things regularly on social media, on Facebook, of before and after photos, because it's wonderful to get suddenly 150 likes from people you never hear from, saying that's incredible, and it sort of encourages you, and I sort of feed off that. And I think I did my final one recently where I was like, I've achieved my goal, I'm down in the teens again, and it was nice because again, 150 people who you do know but you don't hear from every day, they're sending you lovely messages, and that's nice, it's encouraging. And I think Facebook and Twitter and Instagram are good for those sort of things. It's sort of nice to feel the love from your fellow man, and that's not the reason you do it, but it spurs you on a little bit. So yes, things are very positive. I'm in a good place physically and mentally, and hopefully it will continue for the foreseeable future. I'm unlikely to do another one of these videos, but who knows? We'll see how I finish the end of this year out. But if it's anything like the last time, I'll be posting another one of these in 2018, and you might not even recognise me. I might look like Zac Efron, but that's highly unlikely. So thank you for your attention, and I hope you found this video helpful and instructive, and maybe even just a little bit inspirational. Certainly, if I can do it, if I can achieve some of my goals, I know you can, and I hope this helps you on your weight loss journey, on your path, your road to discovery. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen, leave some comments, share, and it's always good to hear from people. But I will leave you all with that, and in half the time as my previous video. I'm at 23 minutes. So thank you all very much for watching, and have a pleasant day. Thank you very much.